Dr. Sharon Mitchell, and we're in the Adult Industry Medical Healthcare Foundation. AIM was founded in 1998 after there was an HIV outbreak in the porn business. There was a male actor who was HIV positive who was going to county health clinics and forging his tests. I discovered that this man gave 6 women HIV in 1998, and I formed AIM for the porn business so they could come and get early detection HIV tests and to share their tests with each other on a monthly basis. So we have our establishment here. We have our establishment here, our waiting room, our draw room where people get their blood drawn. And there's my wonderful staff hanging out, Paul and Scotty and Brooke Hunter and Gigi. the faceless Gigi. And here's one of our exam rooms. We have other examination rooms. Many people come here each month, 2,000 people, for their HIV and STD tests. And what people don't realize is that there are 4 ways to get HIV. And that is from semen, vaginal fluids, blood, and breast milk. A lot of people don't realize that breast milk does carry a large amount of viral load for HIV. When people test here in the porn business, we can detect HIV just 10 days after exposure. So in other words, if you were exposed to HIV 10 days ago, we would be able to tell today. So everyone tests every 2 weeks or 30 days and shares their test results. AIM is the central database for all of the test results in the United States for people that work each day. We give out clean bills of health at 10 o'clock in the morning and people work, and if someone comes up positive for an STD, we're able to contact them immediately, contact their partners, medicate them, and get them not to work until their antibiotics have finished 5 days later, and then they can go back to work. Because people test so frequently, and when they're positive for an STD, they don't work, we have a very low detection rate for STDs other than HIV. It's at 1.2%. This is a good 80% below the national level for people in the ages between 18 and 25. So we have a very low disease rate. Now I'm standing over, I choose a condom, but it broke. This is what we call Plan B. If someone is using a condom and they feel that they've been exposed to HIV or pregnancy very quickly, we can give them a series of medications to make sure that they don't get pregnant, and also to ensure that they won't get HIV if we catch it within 72 hours after the condom broke. There are many types of medications. Frequently in the United States, we have the best medication available for HIV. However, I don't want people to really think that this pill is a cure for HIV, because it's merely a treatment. HIV is a virus. It's a virus that you will have for the rest of your life, and oftentimes your body may not respond very well to these types of treatments we have in the US. You can get very serious side effects. Other countries, such as India and Africa, don't have the access to the types of medications we have here. It's very difficult to get these medications in other countries, and that's why we see such a high disease rate, because it's very difficult to get medicated, and culturally people don't want to go out of their tribe or their family to learn more about HIV, and they will resort in very old housewife situations and realities to think that if they have sex with a virgin it will purge them from HIV and these sorts of things. This is what we deal with in other countries. When you have such countries as Thailand and other countries, Indonesia, China, Vietnam, parts of India, and even parts of Africa, you've got a very high concentration of prostitution that is unmonitored. Although it's not legal, it's not criminalized. So you've got a lot of active sex people and people coming from all over the world to vacation there and have sex vacations. This country doesn't set a standard that says everyone needs an HIV test while working in the sex industry, or people that are visiting and planning to have sex on their vacation. So in my opinion, this is the largest mistake, that people aren't frequently tested and educated about HIV.
One thing I want to ask is, in the 70s when I lived in New York, like in Times Square or whatever, there was a lot of girls on the street, and they had like massage parlors like Harem, Plato's Retreat.
Yeah, there were swing clubs.
And Fantastic and Tahiti, all of them. So in the 70s, it was allowed in New York City, right?
Yes.
And that was also the time of Pussycat Theaters, where all your features ran. And I saw you at the melody burlesque during that time. In any case, in Nevada there's prostitution. So how are they doing over there?
In where?
Nevada.
Oh, Nevada. Well, in the United States, prostitution has not been legalized, but in the 70s, when I used to do a lot of movies in Times Square, there were a lot of prostitution shops that were massage parlors, and people would come in and they would, they would have sex. The law really didn't prosecute prostitutes at that time, but they did turn their head, and really no one made any big deal about it.
In Tijuana, Mexico, what are they doing over there? Are they protecting?
Well, Tijuana in Mexico, you've got really a large amount of poverty in Tijuana, and a large amount of people, including military, that are coming down there, again, to utilize the low-cost prostitutions. And unfortunately, there's not a lot of practice with using condoms, so we have high risk and high numbers of HIV in these areas.
I was there in New York in the 70s, and when I see these movies, I'm actually looking for that time of my youth. So the fashions and the trousers and everything I'm looking for, and it reminds me, these movies remind me of classic movies. And remember, there was Russ Meyer before that, who made the nudies, who were like Super Vixen and Up, that were even more sexy than without showing any sex.
Yeah, Russ Meyer really had a formula where he used very voluptuous women, and they did everything except have sex. But it really didn't matter, because these movies were very highly erotic, and they had a plot, and they also had something that very few movies have today, which was humor. It was very funny, it was very uplifting, but sexy at the same time, and that's not easy to do. It's not very easy to have comedy and sex in the same movie, so he just did a great job.
Two cultures that I see in these movies are the San Francisco culture and the New York culture.
Exactly.
Like Carlos Tabalina was from San Francisco.
Yes, Carlos Tobalina was from San Francisco, and a lot of people call the 80s and that era the golden age of porn, because we had the technology of videotape, which really enabled us to shoot a lot more production value, but they shot film style and had large budgets like the films we shot in New York. So Tobalina would be able to do these incredible production values and use these wonderful locations in San Francisco, not to mention the actresses. You had Lisa DeLue, you had Annette Haven, you had Constance Monet, Carol Doda. You had all these wonderful women and beautiful locations, and it was just it was an incredible time to
You
work.
also danced at the Melody Burlesque?
Yes, I did the Melody Burlesque on
The boss was
48th
Abe.
Street.
His name was Abe.
Yes.
And I saw you and Serena and Desiree Cousteau and what's that theater across Pussycat Theater?
Yes.
They shut it down. The city of New York bought them, right?
Yeah, they shut both both burlesque centers, Melody Burlesque and the Broadway Burlesque. They shut them down, and they also shut the Pussycat Theater. And there were several other theaters along Broadway where my movies used to play.
Do you think Pussycat Theater or something like that is going to come back again, the 35mm?
I would hope so, and I do hope that with all the streaming video of the classics now available on the Caballero site, that people will rekindle their interest in the classic movies and really know what it's like to get some.
Remember Bob Giuccione?
Bob Genova.
No, the Penthouse. Bob Giuccione.
Yeah.
Giuccione.
Good Jim.
Giuccione. So he made Caligula, right?
Right.
That's mainstream and hardcore. Do you think they can make movies like that?
Well, Caligula was a very difficult movie to make because it was a combination of hardcore and mainstream. And I do know that he had such a difficult time that he actually had to four-wall the World Theater, if you remember. He had to actually purchase that theater's earnings every day for a year just to show that, because no other movie theater in New York City proper would allow him to open that movie there.
Very last question is, there's a little movie that appeared that changed all the fashions. Like I told you, I watched fashions in that movie. That was called in 1978 or 79, in January, it was called Saturday Night Fever.
Yes.
It changed the whole culture. So what were you doing at that time? Did you notice that movie too?
At that time, I was working in Studio 54 as a dancer. I would paint myself silver, and I was dancing and performing with Mark Stevens. We had a small dance company, Studio 54, as dancers.
There was Xanadu. Did you ever go to Xanadu, the disco, the green?
Xenon.
Xenon.
Yes.
Xenon.
Yes.
Xenon. So you were in the disco era too.
I was in the disco, and I was also in a punk rock band as well. So
I worked for Seika, and I also met Juliet Anderson, and I taught her some stick. She had the elbow problem. How's she doing?
And Peg, I hear that she's recovering. I know she's been sick.
Okay. Anything you want to say?
No, I just want to thank you so much for having this little visit with me, and thanks for coming to my clinic. And remember, if you're going to have sex, stay healthy. And I know that AIM Healthcare, we specialize in early detection testing, but it's not just for the porn business. You can log on to sexcheck.com, SXCHECK.com, and avail yourselves to all the testing that the porn stars do. You go online, pay online, you go get your blood drawn, and we email you results within 2 days, no matter where you are in the country. So please, play safe. Thank you.
Thank you.
This is my office.
I myself voided it out. Meaning, the system will accept it, but on our end, because there was a no address zip code match, we can't accept it because if it was stolen or what have you, then